What's up guys, DIY Salvage Guy here, and I want to thank you so much for helping me reach that 1,000 subscriber mark. You guys are wonderful. All the comments, all the likes, all the subscribes, thank you so much for being here and continuing to support me and helping me grow and realizing my dream of this. So I've been saying for a while now that once I hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, I was going to be doing a reveal video for the new build. Drove down to Kentucky, you had to go get it, but that's not what this video is about. So make sure you guys tune in on Thursday when that video drops. So on today's episode, what we're going to be doing is finishing up the bumper. We're going to sand it down, we're going to make it all look pretty, and most importantly, we're going to get that hole filled in. Now, countless people told me that you couldn't do it, I couldn't do it, it couldn't be done, body shops couldn't do it, but I proved them wrong, and you guys are going to see that today. It came out phenomenal, and I'm so happy to share this with you guys. So, what you guys are going to see is the patch go on the back, you guys are going to see it be filled in the front. I was thinking about using some body filler. I bought a 3M kit that I was going to be using in order to fill the front, flexible body filler type thing, but I decided not to use it. The plastic welding was working so well that I just wanted to see what the capabilities of it were and what the limitations were, and I was impressed with it. So it's another thing, I could chalk it up for plastic welding just being phenomenal. Made sure that the back was all perfect, all structurally sound. You guys will see how strong it is. Y'all also see the front of it. The patch is going to come out so nice. I can't wait for you guys to see that. Sanded up, all perfect. So if you guys are new here, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys joining. I hope you enjoy the channel. Make sure you like down below. I hope you guys will subscribe and maybe throw me some comments. And most importantly, make sure you guys have that post notification on as well. That way you can stay up to date on the build and everything else going on. Also, if you guys aren't following me over on Instagram, make sure you guys follow me there because I do post things on Instagram quicker than I do on YouTube. So I'll drop a link down below, so make sure you guys are following there. To all my returning viewers and subscribers, thank you guys so much for continuing to support me and allowing me to do this, and I really appreciate you guys being here. Alright, so a couple things we have to do on the back of this now. We have to fill in this hole. So, but before we do that, we sanded down all this stuff over here with the nice 120 grit just to scratch it up a little bit to make the adhesive kind of stick a little bit better. Then we are going to kind of just plastic weld this little spot right here, and we're going to smooth this down with a little bit of plastic weld as well. So we'll start with that. We'll go over it with a little bit of sanding. So right here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure that this is kind of just leveled off a little bit. Just letting the gun do the job for us. We're not forcing anything, just melting it down. We're getting a nice weld on both sides because where the plastic cracked originally, we did the other side already, and on this side, making sure that it's very structurally sound. So next thing we're going to do is weld in this with the plastic welder. We're going to weld in the metal patch. So when we're doing this, all we're going to do is just basically just go right above the plastic and the metal, and we're just going to let it weld together on its own. You just want to infuse the metal into the plastic. That way you get a nice reinforcement patch for when you're doing your front side. You don't want to rush this. You want to go little by little, make sure that every part of it is melted in. So right in here you can see that we have the mesh welded in. On the other side we should be able to get some nice body filler right on there, and we'll probably use the 3M kit that we have instead of using some of the plastic weld, and it should be good. Just to reinforce the back a little bit, we're going to use some of this universal filler. It matches the plastic that we're using, so we'll get it up on here a little bit. So go ahead and we'll melt this a little bit. I'll let the heat do all the work here. Just melt it in. We'll smooth it all down. There's no plastic for it to really bond to, so we have to be a little slow and steady with this one right now. Melting it a little bit just to start the adhesion process. Place it right where we need it to go. And then we'll kind of just smooth it out. We'll probably need one more tiny little piece. So I just want to point out here, you can see that the mesh, it's really solid right now. I'm pushing as hard as I can, and there's nothing coming through. It's not moving at all. So we have a really nice patch on the other side. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of try to fill this in here. This is a little bit thicker than I would like to use on the actual mix itself. So I'm going to put a little bit of plastic filler in here, the same thing we did on the back, and see if we can just fill that up a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit high, and then we're going to see if we can sand it down a little bit and see what happens. A little bit of the filler, and then we'll just melt this in. So that's our patch. Looks to be pretty decent. Let's see how it looks when it's dry. I'm going to put a little extra here because we're going to sand it all down, make it all nice and smooth. But I definitely just want to have a big enough area that I can sand on, especially because this is on a body line. So I'd rather sand that back down. And there's our patch. We have a nice solid patch. Definitely needs to be shaped. So maybe we need a bit more here. And try to level this out a little bit more because this is a little high, and I think we need to be able to sand it down into it. So add a little bit more of the filler here. Rather have more than not enough. Trying to pronounce the body line a little bit where it is. And that should be good. Let that dry, harden up a little bit. So on the other side we did plastic body filler. On this side we're going to try to do the plastic weld. Just see what the difference is, just so that we can learn for the future, see which one's better for small minor scratches when we're going to be repainting anyway. This scratch itself actually went completely through on the other side. You saw me plastic weld the other side as well. So we'll see what this actually winds up looking like. Do a little bit of hand sanding. I have a 120. I don't want to go too deep with this. Just to see how it came out. Go with the actual DA now. I'm going to sand the rest of the vehicle down. A little, throw a little guide coat on here real quick. Just want to mist it on. Don't want too much. Just want to be able to see what it is you actually have to sand, because this is the spot that I sanded down pretty deep. So we're just going to see how this looks after this. guys, I just want to show you a quick update on the progress that I made while patching these holes. You guys remember this was pretty jacked up. It had a large gash right in here. It had a hole that was about the size of this right over here. So I welded it down using the plastic welding rod that matches the bumper. And so if you guys need to find that, it's on the inside of your bumper. It'll tell you what kind of plastic it is. But so I filled it up, filled it in, filled it on the back, used some metal mesh on the back, and filled it all up. And you know, I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely not 100%. I think that just because of the place that it is, it's on a couple body lines here, so it makes it a little more difficult, especially for someone of my skill level. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I'd say it's about a 95% completion right now. I need to sand it down a little bit more, but overall, you know, this looks really good. I'm very happy with it. So right now we're gonna take the rest of this down. We're gonna sand it all down. We're gonna get this down to the sanded stage, and we're gonna be painting pretty soon. But that's the next thing we need to learn. So right now we're just gonna be sanding the rest of this bumper down little by little. And another thing I want to point out, guys, is, like I've said to you multiple times, I'm new to this. One thing that I found that is extremely useful, I bought this little foam backing plate. You can see it's about a 1/2 inch big, and it kind of contours to the actual surface. I was noticing that I was getting about, I don't know, maybe an inch of coverage throughout the whole thing, because when it's on a set backing surface, there's really not too much that you can do with it. So this should contour a little bit more, so if I need to kind of wave it around a little bit around some body lines, I should get some better coverage. So I'm happy with that. Definitely recommend one of these. These seem to be working pretty well for me. Alright, so I'm going to be doing my last pass right now. I just filled in the last little couple dots, mostly stone chips just from basic use. So I have my last little couple ones that I have to sand down. You can see them here, but right now the entire bumper is sanded down with a 180 grit, and in a couple spots a 150 grit, just because that's what I had at the time. So I'm going to be sanding down these last couple little spots, and then I'm going to do the whole thing with a 220/240, depending on which one I have. And then I'm going to be going up to a 320, and that should be the last stop for sanding. So that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little bit. Don't listen to other people when they tell you that something is out of the limitations of yourself. Get out there, try to do it. I bought this bumper for a fraction of what the price would be for even a used one from a junkyard. New ones were out of the question. They were like $1,500. Still needed to paint them, prime them, and all that stuff. So I found one on eBay. I got it really cheap, and you know, I learned during the process. I used some plastic welding. I didn't know how to do that beforehand, before I started doing all this. So patched it up, welded it all up, used some plastic filler rod and everything, and I think it came out really well. Is it perfect? No, but that's what paint's for. We'll cover all that up, making sure that it looks really nice. So we got that hole all covered up, and we got the rest of the bumper all sanded down. We used a little bit of the flexible body filler to cover up any of those rock chips that occurred on the life of the bumper. So we're all set with that. So next for this bumper is we're going to have to prime it up. We'll get some paint on it, and then we will eventually get it installed on the car, obviously. So I hope you guys learned a little bit today, and that you will try to, try to do some of this stuff yourself instead of listening to a body shop or the so-called professionals and everything. Not taking anything away from them, because they do a phenomenal job. But a lot of times with today's day and age, most people just replace things instead of trying to hone their skills or their craft. So that's what this channel is about. I want to make it so that you guys understand and you realize that budget builds are possible. I don't have a lot of money. All I do is have a passion for cars, and I want to be able to drive these Audis. I want to be able to upgrade into other things. Dream car is eventually going to be a Ferrari F430. Maybe I'll get there one day, but I'm not going to be able to rebuild it the way that a professional body shop would. I'm going to have to do things like this and continue to learn trades and skills like this in order to make sure that I get to the point where I need to be in order to do those sort of things. So if you guys are new here, as I said before, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, throw me some comments. Let me know what you think of these videos. Do you guys enjoy them? Make sure your post notifications are on, and please continue to come back and support me. Share it with your friends. Help me get my name out there. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you guys will try to pick up a wrench, buy a car, do whatever you got to do to just try to become a DIY salvage guy yourself.